All right, guys. So, first of all, thank you for coming in. Everybody watching, we have Jake Conan. That's how you say your last name, right?
Yep, you got it.
Cool. Erica Haynes and Clay Sweet with us today. And I'm excited. 2 Hall of Fame producers. And Erica, you've been your first 2 weeks, you did 20K, single mom. Awesome story. I'm looking forward to learning more about it. We're going to start with Jake, though. Jake, how did you find Family First Life? How long have you been with the company?
I found it through Easton's Instagram. I went to college with Easton Patton, and I saw him post a little blurb on there about his production in a 7-month window.
When was that?
That would have been in January of last year. Yep.
And what were you doing then?
I was working for a captive agency up in Montana. I wanted to figure out a way to sell more life insurance because his numbers were absurd.
What'd you do before that? How long were you doing that for?
2 years.
And before that?
Working in nutrition sales and then in college.
Nice. You play any sports in college?
Yes.
What'd you play?
I played football.
Nice. What position?
Linebacker, man.
Awesome, dude. He looks like a linebacker, huh?
He does. Big boy.
Now, what attracted you to, was it Easton showing you how much money he was making? Was it him telling you what he was doing? Was it leads? What attracted you to the company?
All the above. But the big thing was leads. Because, all I was doing was cold calling, door knocking. I was in a town I grew up in. So, not everyone wants to buy insurance from you,
How many people in that town?
60,000.
Nice. And so it was the leads, really.
Leads, man.
How much
Yeah.
did you make your 2 years captive?
A little over 6 figures in a full year.
And did you work hard for that?
Oh, yeah.
Big
Absolutely.
time.
Yep.
And then you got your license. And what have you done with Family First Life?
Came on, got hired in April.
Of which year?
Of this year, 2020.
So you've been with us for like 6 months.
Full-time for 6 months, yep. Full-time since June.
Dang.
And income, tripled.
So
monthly.
you're gonna make $300K. What do you think you're gonna make this year?
I think that's definitely safe.
And now you're ramping up to doing $70,000 a month on your own pin.
Ballpark, yeah.
And
Yep.
you hit Hall of Fame. And you started in April.
Yeah.
Animal, huh?
Crazy.
What are you gonna issue for the full year of 2020? What are you gonna issue?
Man, I have no idea, but I want to help more people get into a better position over here. I'm going to kind of shift my focus a little bit.
So you crushed the field. Now you're gonna shift and build an agency.
Yes, sir. That's the plan.
You got any tips? Well, first of all, how do you write so much business if you're from a small town in Montana?
You got to travel a lot.
What do you do? What's your travel schedule like?
There's like 6 counties that are all an hour and a half, 2 hours away from each other. Sometimes just a little bit more. So sometimes you might have enough to fill up one day in a specific place, and then you're booking it out of town to the next spot for the next day.
You go to
Back.
one spot per day,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just rotate. How many appointments do you run a week?
I try to always keep it right around 30.
And what's your close ratio?
I have no idea.
I like that.
Just keep it up high.
What's your schedule?
Packed.
Is
call
it
days.
Monday, Tuesday? What days do you call?
Same thing you guys do. So call days Monday, Thursday. In the field Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
What type of leads?
Everything. I've had success with new internet life leads, instant internet life leads, final expense mailers, mortgage leads, internet leads, everything.
So you don't care, as long as you can get enough to run an area.
As long as you get an appointment out of it. They do the same thing.
Now, why do you think some people they won't get in their car and go 2 hours away and book a full day? What do you think is holding some people back?
Fully investing in your own business and yourself.
Maybe self-doubt of...
If you can execute.
Now, did you struggle at any point in time? Did you go out and not get anything?
100%, yes. Absolutely, all the time.
And what happened?
Just bought more leads and just called again.
So have you gone on a travel trip and had nothing?
Yeah.
How often?
Not very often. It doesn't happen all the time where you get skunked, but you definitely are below where you want to be at.
Do you like when you're driving home after a day like that? Are you thinking about quitting?
No,
No,
No.
not even an option.
not even an option.
Why not?
This is the best place to be. I saw what the other side looked like with a captive agency.
You know what's funny? So someone goes, man, if you could have found FFL before your last company, imagine how much money you'd make. And I'm like, dude, I wouldn't make any money because I wouldn't have known how bad it is.
Exactly.
I would have taken everything for granted. So I had to go through that to know how good this opportunity is, you know?
It's crazy.
What would be some tips you would give somebody that wants to get better results or is just starting out with the company?
Put the numbers in your side. Just do the things that everybody preaches, but actually apply them instead of just hearing them and kind of just using it as a status quo. Actually apply what everyone else is telling you. They're telling you it for a reason.
What do you wear to appointments?
Not this. Just like a normal polo and like some jeans, tennis shoes sometimes, yeah.
Comfortable tennis shoes, jeans, a FFL polo?
Because you need to run out of there real fast, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Cool, man. Well, what's your goal for 2021? And how old are you?
28.
28. And you're married.
Yes.
Actually, I do have another question. Was your wife supportive on you making the move to Family First Life?
Very supportive.
Because she didn't like what you were doing?
She liked what we were doing, but it was secure. We knew where that was, so that was kind of the hardest part.
Yeah,
bridging the gap.
usually when you leave something you know is working, it's hard to leave, right?
For sure.
But how did you break? Did you sell her on making the move? Like, hey, this is what I'm gonna do. Did you just say, or did you just decide to do it?
I think we definitely talked about it. I mean, I think she just trusted me. And when you have someone, she's not dependent on me whatsoever. She's very independent. But I do like to take pride in being a provider, as everybody does. So I mean, if you're gonna make a jump like that, you better make it worth it.
But you knew you were gonna make it work.
Yeah.
How?
If you don't stop, man, and you have a good attitude.
See, I was
that's it.
telling this kid yesterday. He did 50K. He did 50K last month. He came in here with his wife. Awesome couple. But she didn't want him to leave to his old company and come work here. Like she was like fighting it big time and doubting that he was going to do good. And I asked him that question. I go, were you scared it wasn't going to work? He goes, dude, I had no choice. I was going to make it work no matter what. I'd run any appointments, Saturday, Sunday, I don't care what it is. And what I was saying was, if you find somebody that has that mentality, that's what you need. Is that mentality of there's no other option. I'm going to make it work no matter what. And I don't know if you could put that in people. So you could have the most talented dude in the world come in here and he has a bad day in the field and completely crumbles. Then you got him, which I don't know how talented he is, but he's got this attitude of no matter what, I'm going to make this work. Like, how do we find people that no matter what, they know they're going to put in more effort to make sure it works, you know?
No plan B.
Yeah. Well, congrats, man. I'm
Thank
excited to see what you do. All right, so we also have Erica Haynes, which I'm excited to hear from you, especially because you told me you're a single mom.
I am. Yep.
Of how old?
A 17-year-old daughter and 11-year-old son.
And you had a full-time job.
I did.
How did you end up working with FFL?
So I was in corporate recruiting for the last 13 years, and Julius and I are neighbors. So we constantly see each other, and our kids play together. And one day after, my son looked at me and said, Julius is rich, right? And I said, I mean, he's well off. Yeah, he definitely makes money. And that kind of registered to me that he could tell a difference between our levels. And
Why did he think he was rich, though?
I'm not sure. Maybe his posture, maybe conversation. He's very intuitive. So I wasn't really sure. And I had been watching.
So your son recruited you.
Pretty much. Yeah. So I had been watching him on Instagram and all through his journey. But it didn't really register to me that I was
Instagram and Instagram.
Instagram. Yep.
Interesting.
And so the next weekend, we saw him at the pool again, and I started talking to Julius about this opportunity, and then that was when it hit me that I really wanted to do it. So on my way home...
Why did you want to do it?
honestly for the money and
I like that
just
answer.
to provide more for my children. So when we were driving home, I looked at my son and I said, you know, I think I'm going to do it. I talked to Julius and I'm going to do what he does. And he didn't blink.
Now did you quit your job before you started selling?
I did.
Oh my gosh.
I did.
Were you
Yes.
scared?
Very scared,
terrified?
Terrified. Yes, absolutely. So what kind of pushed me over the edge? So that was kind of an idea. What pushed me over the edge was the conversation with my son. When I looked at him and he asked me why I was so scared. And I told him, well, I walked him through the process of spending money to make money. And without a blink, he just looked at me, he said, well, yeah, if you want to be rich, you have to spend money to make money. And to understand that at that time was 10, could have the mentality of that, I knew I needed to think bigger. And so he asked me what else, and I said, well, what if I'm not good at it? I've never done sales. He looked me straight in the face and said, well, you're not going to be good with that attitude.
We should get him in
I
here.
was gonna say, wait till he's 18.
Yeah, that's exactly what Grady said. He said he's going to be the next Hall of Fame when he's 18. So yeah.
So you quit your job,
I quit my job fully. I'm a single mom of 2, and I was very young when I had them, and so I decided I was going to just take some time off and study, and then just run full force. So that's what I did. I quit my job, and I studied for a month. And
when
then
was your
started
first day out?
October 17th.
October 17th was and what have you done since then?
So my first month, I think I submitted 19. I had some kind of contracting stuff with things going through, and then the second month I was at about 30 submit, but the payout wasn't as great. But now in December, I'm already at 20,000 issue paid, and we're 2 weeks in.
What's the hardest thing that you've encountered?
For me personally, I think it's the no-shows. It can kind of get to you if you're not headstrong. So learning to just play the numbers and know that the next sale, the next house may be a big sale and it will all even out. I think in the very beginning, that was the hardest part for me, is knowing that you just have to do exactly what everyone says. It really is a numbers game. If you book 15 appointments and half of those no-show, and you only sell half of those, you're still way above everyone else that only booked 5 appointments.
And what's been your experience helping customers? Like, do you feel like it's easy?
It is. Once you get in, they want our help. They ask for our help. It's just like Sean Mike said. Like, they filled this form out. They want our help. They need our protection. It's just helping them figure out what they can afford.
And so when you get leads, what type of leads do you use?
I'm buying all of them. Honestly, about 80% of my business is instant internet leads. So I'm kind of a ninja.
Why do more people not use those?
I have no idea.
It's insane. It's insane. I will go on. He's seen screenshots where I'll buy.
Didn't you book like 20 appointments or something off of them the other day?
Yeah.
In one day?
And 17 in one day. Mm-hmm.
All instant leads.
All instant.
Do you say something special on the phone?
No, I just follow a script. It's just I put the activity in. I sit in the office. I go into the office. I live about an hour and 10 minutes away. And I go into the office every Monday, every Thursday, and I am dialing until I have a full schedule. And we'll see people in the office, and they're talking, and they're doing other things, and complaining that they have 2-3 appointments. And Clay can attest, that was just this last week.
What do you say to them when they complain? Have some respect for yourself.
I just kind of
You're an
walk
adult.
away. I don't say anything. I
don't
just
wanna
go back
talk
to
to 'em.
dialing. Right. I go back
Who
to
are
dialing.
those people? Should we say their names?
No, we're good.
What? No. Yeah, so that actually happened this week. Clay came in, asked how I was doing. I struggled to book, I think, 7 my first 8 hours. And then I went home, took a break, and then dialed. And
What's
got
something
17.
you like that doesn't have to do with money about being self-employed now and working with Family First Life?
I love the culture. The support here has been tremendous. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. I've had people that reach out to me that I don't even know who they are, whether it's they want help or they want to provide me with help or just be there for me. My first travel trip, I was frightened. Like,
Why?
I was more frightened to do a travel trip than I was to quit my job and start this. I'm not sure why, but I was.
How far was the travel trip?
To Kentucky, and I live in
How
Phoenix.
far is that?
It was like, well, there's not one flight to get there. I had to take two, so that's how far it is.
Okay, so far.
Not that
And
far.
what'd you do on that trip?
So I actually got the 3-month-old age mortgage leads.
Which are gold.
Yes, so I bought 800 of those, or $800 worth of those, 200 worth of instant leads. And so with the flight and everything, I was about 2,000 invested, and I turned that into 12,000.
12,000 in premium. Mm-hmm. Sounds like a deal.
Yeah.
What do you
I'll take
spend a
it.
week on leads?
At least 2,000
But you're doing 70K a month.
ballpark. Yeah.
Yeah, insane.
Insane.
Well, congratulations. It's exciting. And
Thank
you know she has to do really well after she told us about her son and this whole story.
Absolutely.
Like we have no choice, but she's got to make it big.
I don't have a choice. We were just talking about how some people come in and they can have all the talent in the world, but not enough drive. Like, I have those two kids that there's no not winning in this situation.
I love it.
We're just growing. That's
Love
it.
it.
Goal is, sales manager, senior sales manager, VP, Hall of Fame. Let's get it all.
I love it. Cool.
go.
All right, so Clay, something interesting about you. You've been with Family First Life for how long?
About a year and a half.
And your dad initially called in,
Yeah.
right?
From a Craigslist ad. I believe he
And
talked
talked to
you.
me.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is this is what blows my mind. He said that he was waiting on a call back from like 2 other people in FFL. And I just picked up my phone right away. And he had been waiting for a call back for like 2 to 3 days.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm thinking, now you're a Hall of Fame producer. You work with us.
Yep.
But how crazy is it that someone just didn't pick up their phone? Like, people run ads, they do all this stuff, and then I answer everything because I'm like, this might be the next Hall of Fame producer.
Absolutely.
And you ended up on our team, and you're crushing it. You hit Hall of Fame your first year.
Yep.
What'd you do before FFL?
I was a bartender. So I graduated from college, business management degree, lived out in Los Angeles, just kind of ran that rat race of living out in LA, moved to Phoenix, wanted more. Always knew I could do something, but didn't know what it was. Told my dad, I was like, hey, listen, like, I want to do something.
Now, does your dad work with us?
A little bit, kind of.
Okay.
Kind of. But he was kind enough to be a good dad and look out on his own and look through Craigslist, Indeed, and ran across an ad, and it was your ad, and he called and he's like, hey, listen, I know that we reached out to a couple other people, but I think you need to get on the phone with this guy. And you and I talked, and then you said, I have the perfect guy for you. You live in Phoenix? And I said, yeah. He said, Grady Polson. So went down and met up with Grady.
How fast did Grady call you?
Oh, dude, it was like I was in his
Within
office.
minutes?
Yeah. Grady moves quick. So kind of tinkered around with it a little bit. Like, I went full time with FFL and a year ago, like pretty much around now. And then knew that I set my goals.
Why were you looking for something else?
Like you talked about, just inner drive. I mean, I don't think, like what Erica was saying, I don't think you can teach that, like, just driven.
You just have this thing about you where you just want to
I'm
win.
just full steam, like whether it's bartending or playing basketball or whatever. I just want to go. Like, I want to do it. So I was really excited about the culture of
But at
FFL.
bartending, what did you not like? Were you like unhappy and you said, "Oh man, like I should look for something else"?
I mean, I was grateful for what I was doing, but I just always had that inside. In probably like when you were bagging groceries, you were like, "Look, this is fine for right now, but I don't want to be the bartender, the grocery bagger that's 50 years old and people going, oh, like that's what happened, So I just kept my eyes open and found Family First and set my goals last year.
How'd you know it was a right fit for what you were looking for?
Well, I think I talked about this on a True Talk. Talking to you, talking to Grady. Look, I'm a little different. I didn't have any background. I didn't know what I didn't know. So like, I was like, okay, so I buy my own leads. I can make a ton of money off those leads. I'm invested in my renewals from day one. Great comp, great training, great culture. This is a no-brainer. So I just happened to make a good decision because it was staring at me in the face. So I wanted to put the onus on me to make a great income. I didn't want to build someone else's dream. I wanted to build my own dream. So like I said, last December, I just kind of made up in my mind that I was going to go, I was like, okay, Hall of Fame's number one.
When did you quit bartending?
Right in December.
Before you made a sale?
After I made a sale. I was a little bit part-time for a little while, and then went full-time in December, grabbed an assistant my first, full-time week or month. I was just like, okay, Grady told me to get an assistant, and so I grabbed an assistant and been trying to build ever since and hit Hall of Fame, and now the team's starting to do well. And
what do you think your income is?
About 300, something like that.
Dude, some agents have been showing me their paychecks, and I'm just like, this thing's out of control. Like,
It's
people
crazy.
are making so much money.
It's silly. It's
Yeah,
really silly.
it's. I've never seen anything like it. You know?
I went on a travel trip 2 weeks ago, and just from the travel trip, I had close to $20K deposited in my bank account. That's insane.
And how fast?
3 days.
So after doing all that's so now a lot of people have excuses about travel trips, which I love Erica because she's got 2 kids, single mom. How do you do that if you leave? Do you have someone help you watch the kids?
I do.
Is it like a family member or something?
Well, my son's dad, and then my daughter she drives and works.
Got it. She's 17.
She's basically
Got
an
it.
adult.
Got it. But you go, hey, is it hard to be away from your kids like that?
It is, but they were on board when I decided to do this. We sat down, and they knew that it was going to be a sacrifice for a little bit. So
Now the good news is you don't have to do it forever.
right.
Like what Sean Mike said the other day, he goes, hey, if you want to be like 50% in, call your family and tell them you're going to be doing this forever. And I was
I
like,
love that.
wow.
So true.
And then I was like, and he goes, but if you want to go 100% in, you're going to be doing it for 2 to 3 years, and you can work from anywhere on your phone, which is the way it should be set up. 2 to 3 years, you can sell if you want. You don't have to sell. You have X amount of whatever, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 bonus a month, plus your overrides. And then you just keep hiring and helping people do what you did from anywhere,
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, pretty crazy. What would be well? Let me ask you this: Did you want to quit at any point?
No. Was I
Never.
frustrated? Yes. Did I want to quit? No.
What
Those are
was-
two totally different things?
What was some of your frustrating times?
No shows, leads, just
Chargebacks.
chargebacks. But I was telling her on the plane ride over here, I was just like, if you just see this big picture where it's not a day-to-day thing, it's like a week-to-week thing, a month-to-month thing,
Year-to-year thing.
year-to-year thing, and you just continue doing what you're doing, put your head down, it changes your mindset. Like, when I began, I thought, well, like, what if I didn't make any money? And now my mind shift is, what if I do make money? What if I do fly to Virginia and I have a 20K week? What if I do?
How big is that? When did that switch?
I'd say about halfway into this year. It
It's
just
funny
dawned
you
on
say
me.
that because I started doing that a few years ago. I go, okay, if I fly here and meet these 5 agents, what if these guys do like $250 a month
Yeah,
after
yeah.
I meet them? And if I go here, who knows who I'm? Now it's like, have you seen the movie Yes Man
Yes.
with Jim Carrey, where like he goes to that seminar and they're like, just say yes to everything and like the world will open up to you.
Yep.
And then that guy's like, throw this rock through that bank window. And he chucks the rock through the bank window. But dude, I started living in a weird way where I'm like, all right, let's do a meeting here. Yes. Let's go meet these guys. Yes. Let's go here. Yes. Let's do this. Yes. All of a sudden our business starts to grow like crazy in all these different areas, you know?
Because if you go, if you
Something's
decide
gonna
not to
happen if
something's
you
gonna
go.
happen.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
So-
same on a travel trip or going out. But dude, imagine how much volume we would do if everybody did a couple travel trips a month.
So much more volume.
And they picked up there's plenty of leads. Like you're moving to Ohio, right?
Absolutely.
What made you decide to do that?
Availability, leads, customers.
There's tons of leads there. You could build a couple $1 million a month base shop easy just with the lead availability that's flying in,
Exactly.
which is awesome, you know? All right. So Clay, what's your goal in 2021?
$500,000 personal production and board member.
Which is $10 million as a team.
Oh, is it $1 million a month?
Oh yeah, $1 million a month.
$1 million a month.
So get to $1 million a month as an agency.
Yep.
And if you guys are all hiring, right? So if somebody wanted to work with you, they could call you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Let's say somebody's watching this and they go, I really like Erica. She's awesome. I want to work with her. How do they get, you'll help them get their license?
I will help them do everything. Yes, I will set them up. I'll get them the study guides. I will coach them along the way. Let's go.
Plug them into everything?
Plug them
Where
in.
can they be in the country?
They can be anywhere. I have people right now all over.
You guys want to give them your phone numbers?
818-451-8488. Call me.
602-770-7303.
What about you?
406-607-0624.
See, he said that way clearer than I did.
Yeah. You want to say yours again? No, just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming in and sharing. This thing's just getting started, and I'm excited to see what we do in 2021.
Awesome. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.